his due process rights. So same thing here. The court made it a little tougher. Roberts Court made it a little tougher, but they did open that door. We walked through it. In fact, 2 hours after the Supreme Court's ruling, we ran through that door to protect the rights of these babies. All babies born in the United States
Good
are
news.
citizens of the United States. My parents were migrants. Every person here comes of migrant stock, except for the Native Americans. And so,
awesome. Including Donald Trump family.
Except for the Native Americans. And so this is the idea of America in action, and we're very proud that we secured that first injunction.
Now, Norm, it's worth asking here that normally when you have a federal district court, their rulings don't establish any precedent. But isn't it true that now that we have now that this is a class action lawsuit, the only people impacted are not those who are in this specific case? This is class action, and so this is the entire country. Everybody who falls into this class across the entirety of the United States is protected by this ruling. Is that correct?
That's exactly right, Brian. Normally, when a federal district court, the trial court rules, that binds that individual judge, and other judges in that district may or may not agree with that first opinion. It's not until the appellate courts and ultimately the Supreme Court get involved that precedent is more broadly binding. But this is following what the Supreme Court said less than 2 weeks ago, making such news in the CASA case, that the way to get a nationwide injunction and bind everyone in the country, every baby born here in the period the judge applied this to after February 20th, is through class action. And that's what we did. We got the class certified. That means the judge said, yes, it's a proper class. It represents all the babies. And we got the injunction based on that class certification. Now we'll have appeals here. But we think we're on firm footing. We did what the Supreme Court asked. Donald Trump's reading of the Constitution on birthright citizenship is ridiculous. He says it only applies to the children of slaves. It says very clearly, all persons. This is an originalist court. They say follow the words and the original meaning. That is clearly the meaning. The court has held as much for in the entire history of this 14th Amendment, and we're confident that we are going to succeed on appeal.
If this gets to the Supreme Court, I know nothing is a sure thing, but it was the Supreme Court itself that left open the option to make use of these class action lawsuits. And so is there a world where the Supreme Court can say, we know we gave you this remedy, but in fact, we don't want you to employ this remedy? Like that seems complete, even for this court, seems completely outside the realm of possibility. Can you weigh in on that?
We have to be candid about the challenges that we faced, and to take strong exception to some of the decisions of the Roberts Court on Trump's imperial and unconstitutional uses of executive power. I would point all your listeners to Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's magnificent dissents explaining why we disagree with some of the rulings of the Roberts Court. But even this court is confronted with a long line of precedent that class actions are acceptable, and with the plain language of the 14th Amendment, all persons born here are citizens of the United States. So even the Roberts Court is going to be hard-pressed to disagree with what the judge did today, and what I think many other judges are going to do as these cases, these class actions, are also brought elsewhere in the country. We're expecting another decision in Maryland any day now. Of course, this This case, before it was a class action, was the very first to be filed anywhere in the country challenging Trump's unconstitutional attack on birthright citizenship back on